This episode is brought to you by Thor's Ice Cream, the best ice cream menu in Billingham. Find them at the rink on game days and pick from their range of amazing desserts, including the Biscoff brownie and the famous whippy trays, with a choice of amazing toppings. Supporters of the Stars and Buccaneers and proud partners of STARCAST. Find Thor's Ice Cream on social media.
This is STARCAST, the official podcast of the Billingham Stars. Watch and listen for the latest news from the Big Red Machine.
Hello again, welcome back to the official podcast of your Billingham Town Council, Billingham Stars. This is STARCAST for Wednesday, March 24th. The regular season is done, dusted, it's in the books, it's playoff time. We've got plenty to talk about. We've got a double-header weekend with Deeside, which was last weekend, a double-header coming up against the Telford Tigers in the playoff quarterfinals. That's to talk about. All the results, the tables, the playoff matchups, any other business as well. Carol and Jono are joining me as usual to talk all things Big Red Machine. Carol, Jono, good evening. How's things?
Good evening, yeah. Glad to be back in the comforts, my own home comforts, I should say.
Yeah. Moved back up the coast from Yarm, Saltburn, wherever it was. And Carol, you're good. You have you know where your silverware is, don't you?
Oh, always.
Yeah.
It's a bit soggy in not very sunny Billock tonight. It's I can hear the rain hammering down outside, so it's gone slightly moist outside.
It's more mid-season than it is end of season, to be honest.
But obviously, I'm a bit further north than you. The Gateshead are playing at the Gateshead Stadium. They're playing there tonight. There was an inspection at 6:45. It passed, and then it rained, and then the game was off at 7 o'clock. So
big game that with York City as well.
It was
that division going
absolutely torrential. But enough. This is not a weather podcast. We do have a guest waiting in the wind. They'll be wondering what the hell we're talking about. But yeah, plenty to come tonight. I say end of the regular season, into the playoffs. But first of all, joining us to talk about the weekend just gone and the playoffs ahead is the head coach of last weekend's opponents, the Deeside Dragons. Delighted to welcome to STARCAST. It's Mike Clancy. Mike, thanks for joining us on the podcast. How's things down in Deeside today?
No, fantastic. Just like up north, it's very wet. Very wet.
Great to have you on. As I say, it was a great little series between ourselves at the weekend just gone. And as I said, leaving the ring on Sunday. The next time we can meet is the playoff final. So we'll pencil it in for later in the season. But just as a general kind of setting the scene where you are, Deeside, obviously a fantastic season, a cup title, second in the league, and a fantastic run into the end of the season from the Dragons this year.
Yeah, I'd definitely echo that. I think the season's really grown. The team have gelled. We've gone from strength to strength in hitting some of those marks that we set out right at the beginning of the year. Some regrets, I'll be honest. We've not gone through the season winning every game that we expected to win, and we certainly be held accountable in some places, and especially Billingham this Sunday, where you put back a little bit. I think we had enough in the group coming into that game to really challenge and compete. And I think the more I look back on it, the more we've let ourselves down a little bit short benched. No excuses. I think Billingham were really, really strong on the day, and really put us back. So when I say put us back, almost put you on a grounded level again, if that makes sense. You're getting that excited, you're winning games, and you're going ahead of yourselves. But coming into Billingham, hard place to play, really quality. From a side that's grown over years, so yeah, great.
Yeah, no, from the sidelines as a spectator where I was, it was a great series the weekend. So certainly the two teams certainly well matched. In terms of this season, obviously we go back to the summer. A lot of recruitment from yourselves on longer term deals as well, which we'll talk about in a minute. But you're certainly trying to build something in Deeside, and it's been a conscious effort to we'll talk about the building of Deeside if you want later, but kind of building for this season and maybe some growing pains early on before to get everybody settled in. But then once you hit your straps, kind of halfway through the season, that's when you really clicked.
Yeah, I would definitely say I would agree. We went through a big change this year, so a lot of old guard. As you know, when we came back from COVID, we were an older side within the group, experienced, don't get me wrong, but less committed with families and things like that. So you're often going away to away games without a full strength side. To have an opportunity of bringing in some youngsters, blooding some quality players for the future within a group, it's helped us develop. And most of our training sessions, Craig, over the last probably 2-3 years have really encouraged that junior group to come into us and start to understand what we're about, how to work within a group like this, and be able to deliver on the bigger stage. And this year we've reaped rewards of that. Dan Fedjev's real star player for me. Everyone forgets he's only just turning 17 years old. Theo would be another one that I would mention that's come into the group that's really stood out for me as a 16-year-old youngster. Beyond that, we're still a young group at heart. I think if you look at our average age this season, 23 years old, come down from what were we, 28, 29 last year. Probably one of the oldest groups in this league. So yeah, a few changes. Youth is definitely the way forward, but a mix of that is really important if you're developing players.
Yeah. No, we're good. I'll stop talking for a bit and bring in my colleagues. Carol, do you want to jump in and chat with Mike?
Yeah, sure. I mean, last season, I don't know how much of a regular listener, tuner in you are to this podcast, but last season we spoke an awful lot about Deeside on this podcast, and in particular the issues that you were having to put back. Was that the focus of your recruitment in the summer, to build this team that you've built now? Because to us it seemed that you kind of solved everything up front, but at the back you leaked far too many goals last season.
I think the goal was to excite everyone that came to watch games by winning 10-9, 8-9, whatever it was. No, I am joking. Yeah, I think you are right. I think defensively we struggled last year. Part of that was understanding systems, so having players that can deliver when you're really pushing them and getting them to play in a different way than you would normally do so. I think if I look back on last year, if you look at the shots against Deeside, we're one of the lowest shot against teams in the league, yet we seem to concede a lot of goals in the wrong areas. And defensively, yeah, we struggled. This year, it was a big focus.
I thought as much. But this season you seem to have... it's almost a season of two halves, because the first half of the season, some of those issues still seem to be there, because we again, the podcast, we seem to be talking a lot about Deeside winning at home and losing on the road, often to the same team in the same weekend.
Yeah.
Or was there something else?
I think I lost you a little bit, Carol. I'm hoping that's not me.
No, okay.
Don't do it again. Playing the same team in the same weekend, and we'll edit it there.
No, I was talking about playing the same team in the same weekend, winning at home, losing on the road. I was just talking about how inconsistencies maybe cost you in the first half of the season.
Yeah, I would agree. If I look back, we're 11 points off competing with Blackburn right at the top of this. We've gone through a number of games that I can look back on this year that, for me, we should have won. Part of it's been discipline. So if you look at our penalties, we take penalties at the wrong time, get penalised in the wrong areas. So some selfish play. Right at the beginning of the year, looking at that, I would say we struggled to gel completely. So two different teams, Jekyll and Hyde. I would have a great team at home because I'd have everyone available, as most teams do. And then travelling away, we're not so committed. New families, new work commitments, new things like that. Really, really struggled. So different deep pairings, different forward lineups, going short bench quite often at the beginning of the year. Really did not help building consistency where we needed it most.
Any more, Carol, or do we throw over to Jono?
I'm gonna throw it to John because I can see he's chomping at the bit down there.
No, it's probably a bit of a loaded question, but both of you have kind of asked and got answers that I was kind of expecting. But obviously, with all the hype around the summer of what the Hawks signed and your signings as well, I mean, did the team yourself feel any of the pressure with the team that you signed to compete and win something this year? Obviously, it's a building process. You've created that process, that ladder, by signing 1, 2, 3 year deals. So do you feel that pressure when you've got guys in for 2 years going, right, well, now we've got 2 years, we have to win something?
No, not necessarily. I think, being honest, really open and honest, the deals were set out for a longer term for us, to give us a little bit of consistency, to manage budgets over a longer time, because we're not a loaded side. I'm not paying hundreds of pounds for the players that are coming through the door. I wanted to make sure that everything we do is sustainable, but at the same time we can develop people over a period. If I go back to, and I'll hats off to you guys, you had a core of players that stayed together for a long period of time, and that showed over many years within this division of being a top side, really did. And we wanted to try and mirror that in several ways. So longer term deals, 2, 3 years. For me, younger players got longer deals. Older players that we thought could gel and be a part of something and help us grow, we did longer term deals for. But most of it was to manage and ensure that we remain sustainable.
So my other bit of my next question is probably more of you as a coach. You may or may not know, I had my own podcast for a while, obviously stopped for obvious reasons due to taking up a different role. And obviously, and even on a bit on this podcast, week after week, we were talking about the Dragons and the Dragons defense. And where do you feel, I don't know whether you listened or if it gets back to you, but how do you feel about when you hear people such as myself talking rubbish, as most would say? How do you feel, and how do you take it when club or people like myself or podcasters talk about Deeside, the way they defend? And it's not a joke, but we are having a bit of a laugh and a joke at the state of the defense at the time. How do you take that as a coach? And do you ignore it? Do you say, right, I've got to prove these guys wrong? Or do you try and implement something different in training? Or
Obviously, you always take it in the wrong way, Jono, and I'll be really honest. And anything that goes against your club or some of the stuff that you're doing, you take in the wrong way. I think if I look back, we worked harder in training sessions, and I mean we really put pressure on the D to perform in different ways. And unfair as the game speeds up and we're working with, and please don't take this the wrong way, and I don't want my team to take this the wrong way, but when we're working with older players that have played certain systems for a long time, it's really hard to get players to change what they're doing. And it's definitely never natural when you're asking someone to pin on the first instance and they're used to standing in front of the goal in the middle of the crease, and you're like, what the F are you doing? Get out there. It's a little bit different. So do I take it critically? Yeah, I do, and I'd be wrong to say that I didn't. Am I hard-skinned, and do I work hard on changing that? Absolutely. We work hard within a group to give the best performance we can for the fans that we've got that really are growing in a huge way with Deeside, and look, to make sure we're competitive on the ice every game we play.
All good from me. Yeah.
All good. I was going to say, talking about the building, this year, whatever you've done over the summer to get kind of centerpiece Jake has built into what you're building bought into what you're building in Deeside in a big way, hasn't he?
Absolutely, but Jake is a huge part of what we're building as well. So if I think about 3 people in particular that work exceptionally hard within the Deeside organisation, Mikey Rowe, Sean Bebbington, myself, we have a number of other people within the background that really do quite a lot of things. We lacked somebody that could get on the ground and go out and see potential sponsors, walk into schools and do those really those small shifty things that you can't do if you're working a full-time job, if that makes sense. So Jake became more than just a player within the group. He became almost an ambassador within the local community really, really quickly. looked up to by every kid that walks through the door, as you can imagine. Gives up his time coming to jump on the ice with the junior club, which is really exciting. And ran a number of shooting clinics to get people involved that I will say were always sold out, including helping us start a breakfast club. So you ask most parents to get up at 5:30 in the morning and get their child to the rink for 6 to get on for 6:30 and get off at 8 and get to school in time, and they all look at you and think crazy. But Jake was a huge part of getting that breakfast club off the ground and built. So for me, is a huge part in where we've come over the last 12 months. Really is.
Yeah, and to top it all, he's not a bad player either.
Well, he could have done with a few more goals, but hey, that's next year.
Yeah. 66 is a good number. You talk about the kind of the work that goes on. We mentioned it kind of briefly off the top, where Deeside have come from. It's similar kind of rebuilding of the whole club since the COVID. We did a similar thing, maybe it's not on such a big scale. Kind of the first season back after COVID, conscious decision not to have any imports, just to bring the kids through. Your rebuild's kind of been bigger than that because you had to literally rebuild the rink as well.
I think if we came back after the pandemic, rink turned into a morgue and then later on into a bit of a hospital. Horrible time for everybody involved, but to see where it's come from there, the new boards going in, the ice being laid, and we start to build. I'm not sure if you remember that first year, but we were literally, if that first game didn't take place after postponing, I think it was 6 or 7 games at the beginning of that year, we'd have gone bust straight off the bat. So we were desperate to get that game on by any means. And I think we ended up with probably 250 people coming through the door to watch us, thinking actually we've done all that stress and strain and everything else, and we've not even hit the numbers we needed to keep us afloat. To go from there, game after game, built really, really quickly the passion for the local area and community getting involved in it. And like I mentioned right at the beginning, we set Deeside out this year or when we set it up, to be a community club, not for a profit basis. So all of the directors working within the organisation take nothing out of it. We have an expense that we agree at the beginning of the year. We have an equipment agreement at the beginning of the year. Everything else that comes into that club goes to our juniors. Everything, the whole lot. We don't take anything out of it. We wanted to help build that junior club as well, and James Parsons. I mean, he's a cult hero of Deeside, to be fair. Long-term captain, probably he's played more games than anyone else, got more points than anyone else, and I don't think that'll ever be surpassed. But what he's doing with that junior club, even today, has helped it grow, which is going to support us in the future. 130 plus numbers already. We've got people queuing to join that organisation. We're struggling to get more ice to put people on the ice. I think the future really, really bodes well for Deeside. The quality of the youngsters that are starting to develop and have been developing over the last 3 or 4 years, we'll reap the rewards of coming into the next couple of years. And I do mean that. It's really exciting.
It is, and from like obviously seeing how we did it at Billingham to see to you, and you're getting the success as well. It's what we believe. We've talked about it on the pod. Clubs at this level, that's what their ethos should be. Yes, you want to win. Winning's nice, but the future and the development and that angle it's got to be huge for clubs at our level. Would you say so?
No, I completely agree. I think if we invest really well into that grassroots operation and support it, whether it's players getting on the ice, helping the juniors, let's be honest. I mean, every junior that plays in your club, in my club, looks up to every player that steps on the ice with that senior team, without doubt. And they take a lot from spending time with those people. If they can just take a little bit of time to talk to them, jump on the ice, help them a little bit, even if they're only sparing 30 minutes of the time that they can spare to jump on the ice and help in sessions, it really will escalate things pretty quickly in development for sure.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Carol, anything else?
Yeah, I just wanted to jump forward to present, if I may. Obviously, the year that you've had and the momentum that you've built from winning the cup through to now being the second seed for this upcoming playoff series. You must have half an eye on that trophy, because I was in the building on Saturday, and the excitement around the building was undeniable. The crowd is jumping. Everybody's got a real positive feel about it. You've got a quarter-final series against your local rivals. You must be feeling quietly confident.
I wouldn't say confident. I think I'll go back a little bit, Carol, just to the weekend. We were grounded really well on a team that was on form and really driving. I think Craig and I had talked about an on-form team briefly. I think it's good to get put back into a level pegging of it's not all going to go your own way, and you need to find a different way to compete. We'll play Widnes on Saturday in Deeside in front of, I'm imagining, 1,200 people. It will be the same as a cup final. They'll find it difficult to compete at the level that we'll come out at, supported by a really, really great crowd. So my expectation is, yes, we'll come and perform next weekend. What's held for us the weekend after, we'll take and we'll face when it comes. But I'm not counting my chickens before the eggs have come and all that sort of stuff. I'm really keen that we just make sure that we keep focused on what we can be focused on, train really hard, prepare well for the competition that we come into, and put a good account of ourselves, which is I wouldn't ask for any more than that.
But 2 trophies would be lovely, wouldn't it?
2 trophies would be fantasc. Well, actually 3, if you count the Welsh Cup.
Oh, I did.
It's important to me.
No, we lost the Tyne Trees Trophy this Christmas, and we were all absolutely devastated.
Yeah, I think those little things. I think Wales 2 rinks. Hopefully, it will grow over the years, and we can do something different. But we worked really, really hard a few years ago to try and reignite the Welsh Cup and put a lot of time into it. And as excited as we are, I mean, I don't know, is it Canucks next year? Is it Fire next year? I'm not too sure, but I hope it continues.
Well, before anybody else says it, I'll say good luck in the playoffs, and hopefully we'll meet in the final, because you just never know.
Fingers crossed.
Counting your chickens, John. You've counted the chickens, and you know who your favourites for the playoffs are, don't you?
I think Deeside are the favourites for the playoffs, and it's just because I think you've got the Hawks number. So that's what it kind of takes me to the question of that semi-final series with Hawks. When you come through that, the way you came through it, how do you keep the team grounded and then back into the league business, then ready for a massive cup final? How do you keep that momentum going, but not let them get carried away with such a before it's probably I would say a shocking to the league that you did beat Blackburn. Everyone had them for a clean sweep. They had themselves for the clean sweep. The Dumb podcast themselves saying it's all or nothing for them this year. So how, probably a bit of a loaded question, but more importantly, how you as a coach do you keep them grounded?
I think the room did that well. I think we came into Blackburn in that particular second round game with a real focus on the system that we were playing, and trying to get your players to believe in a plan and stick to a plan and not deviate from a plan even when it slightly goes wrong is important. And if that belief remains in a changing room and they continue to push and the successes start, you've got a team on the back foot. And once you've got a team on the back foot, you can continue to push. And I would say this team now has learned a lot through the year. It's taken some losses when it shouldn't have taken some losses. They've worked hard in the on the training pitch as such, and the locker room is absolutely incredible. I will say that's one thing that's probably allowed us to grow throughout this year is that locker room being so connected. It's incredible.
Yeah. John, any more?
Yep, all good. Brilliant.
Fantastic. Just final one from me, mate, is the playoffs as a kind of showpiece. Obviously, the 4 quarterfinals are set. The division over, and we've said this in kind of in conversations over the last few years, the division has kind of kept improving, and the 4 quarterfinals, you think you know how they're going to go, but I think on any night we've seen any team can win. So it's going to be an exciting 3 weeks into the Steel City Showdown.
Yeah, I think we've seen that throughout the year this year. I think teams that think they're going to go and walk a game and all of a sudden get turned over. I think any team in that top 5 or 6, to be honest, if they turn up with the right way, with the right preparation, can turn anyone over. So when we talk about who I expect to see in the final, I think it's really open. I think these playoffs are really open. I think a number of teams are on a back foot at the minute, haven't got the wins that they would expect to get or the momentum that they would expect to get. And then we've got a couple of teams in the background that have just built some momentum that I didn't expect them to get. So all of a sudden, the whole thing changes slightly. I wouldn't say who I will put out there from a prediction point of view of being in a final, but I really hope Deeside are there, and I hope the next best team's there to compete against them. That's the honest piece.
Sounds good. It's going to be an exciting few weeks. We look forward to it. And as I say, the only time we could meet would be in the final. So we'll pencil that in. We'll see you in Sheffield in 3 weeks' time. But congratulations on the season so far. Say the cup win, huge and the first of many, I'm sure, for the Deeside club. So wish you well for the playoffs. We'll see you in September. We'll see you in April. And thanks for your time tonight.
Great stuff. Thanks all. Take care.
Cheers, Mike. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
And there is head coach of the Deeside Dragons, Mike Clancy. Interesting chat. Obviously, we've seen Deeside, their story. It does mirror the kind of the Billingham comeback from COVID quite a lot, Carol, doesn't it?
Yeah, they had the added complication of the rink. And I had forgotten actually about that little slight stutter they had at the start of the return, if you like. I'd forgotten all about that until he mentioned it. So
hand on heart, I spoke to Bebo on that Monday of that week, and he said they were done. That was it. They were done. Yeah. The ice hasn't frozen the way they expected. They were having big issues, and that was it. They were done. Yeah. Whoever worked there, whoever did what they did by the Friday, did miracles and probably saved that hockey club, to be honest.
Yeah. It's weird how these little sliding doors of life kind of change the whole community, really, because I think given that I wasn't exaggerating when I went into the building on Saturday, and I'm sure Jono probably thought the same. There's a real buzz about that rink at the minute. The home crowd were very loud, very vocal in their support of the team, and it's clear to me that they're kind of central to that community. So, you know, the sliding doors moment for them there is them getting that rink back, getting that team back going, and you shouldn't think what would have happened if Bebo had been right and they were done. It's I mean, I've always quite liked going to Deeside anyway. I think it's one of my nicer places to visit. But just the last few visits, it's been like I say, the home support seems to be really. They seem to have really bought into what the club are trying to do. Again, very much like us, and they're really getting behind their team. And you know, the backroom support in Deeside is one that is keen to help support the youth development, as Mike was just alluding to there. Also keen to help with the development of the league. So you've got your Bebos, and you've got Steve here who's come from another club and made a real impact. So I've always really liked Deeside as a club, but I think this season I have seen a real step change in what they've been doing, and all kudos to them. You know, they've had a plan since coming back from COVID after the little stumble, and they've stuck to it, and now it's paying dividends.
No, that's brilliant. So thanks to Mike. We'll take a break there. Great to hear from Mike Clancy. We'll come back in a minute and talk more about the playoffs. We'll review the Deeside series and look ahead to the postseason. But stay with us here on your Billingham Stars podcast. It's a STARCAST.
This episode is brought to you by Thor's Ice Cream, the best ice cream menu in Billingham. Find them at the rink on game days and pick from their range of amazing desserts, including the Biscoff brownie and the famous whippy trays, with a choice of amazing toppings. Supporters of the Stars and Buccaneers and proud partners of STARCAST. Find Thor's Ice Cream on social media.
Welcome back to StarCast, and pleased to be joined in this segment, the captain of your Billingham Stars, Michael Elder. Michael, thanks for jumping on and joining us here on the pod.
Thank you for having me. Good evening.
Pleasure is all ours. End of the regular season just gone. A good head-to-head with Deeside, that double-header weekend, getting you kind of into playoff mode with a double-header, and a fantastic way to finish in front of the home fans on Sunday night.
It was, yeah. I thought we had a good weekend overall. Look, I think the past 3 or 4 games, we've not had a lot to play for in terms of position in the table. We've kind of been, obviously, I think if Hull picked up a few more points, they could have been on our cases a bit, but we've kind of been cemented in this 5th place for a while now. So we, although we haven't had a lot to play for in that respect, we've had obviously we want to be playing our best hockey heading into the playoffs, and coming down the stretch, we had a good few tests. Obviously, we had Solihull away, which when we played them at the time, it was still very much neck and neck between them and Telford, whether who was going to finish in that 4th spot. So we had one mind on the fact that we might be going back down to Solihull next weekend. So we had to prove to ourselves that we know Solihull is not the best place to go. So, and we haven't performed there over the past few years. So we had to prove ourselves that we could go down and get a result, and we did. And likewise, Solihull, are a great team. So we were just playing. We want to play the best hockey, and again, another tough test of the weekend. Deeside back to back. Kind of just playing them away on the Saturday and home on the Sunday. The travel obviously doesn't suit the team that plays away on the Saturday, because you've kind of got late night coming back. But yeah, I thought we went down there. It was a bit of a stop-start game. Lots of penalties that probably could have been let go on both sides. That's not a case of the fact. I'm not saying that if both sides kind of were at fault there. So, but again, yeah, that game was probably kind of won in special teams. And Sunday, last home game of the regular season, we came back to the Forum again. We knew what we'd expect. Decided they've got obviously that top line of Cromie, Witkowski, and Kennedy, who do an awful lot of damage, and we managed to keep them at bay for the most part. So yeah, we're quite happy with our game at the minute and where it's at. A few little things that we're going to want to correct for this weekend coming up against Telford, but yeah, it's we're playing some good hockey.
We'll talk about Telford in a second, but just the kind of run that they've been on, the ridiculous gap between home games. Last home game was February the 14th, before Sunday just gone. Did that run of away games ironically help you get into kind of that kind of mentality, get you together, traveling together? And you've kind of, if you look at those away games, they're getting better and better and better, and then you've ended up with this run of form that you're on.
You could attribute it to that, yeah. I don't think we've been too worried about. I don't think we've been too worried about playing away from home as such. Obviously, we know that we're comfortable playing at home, but we kind of just want to, every game we've just strive to be that a little bit better. Look, we've finished 5th this year. There's been a few holes in our game that we've kind of just wanted to correct, because we want to give our best shot at going quite deep in these playoffs. It's not going to be easy, and there's going to be very, very, very little room for error. So we've kind of just been building up over the past few weeks of just getting our game in good shape, whether that's been, and obviously it has just been the fact that it's been on the road. Obviously, yeah, it's different size rinks. Deeside's different at playing at Widnes, different at playing at Solihull. So we've kind of had a few different environments that we've had to overcome, but the lads have all they've all done their job. And we've kind of, there's been a few injuries that people have nursed over the past few weeks that we've managed. So yeah, we've done our job coming down the stretch, and we're looking forward to this next weekend.
Perfect. Carol, captain's all yours.
Oh, we've been talking for pretty much since the turn of the year about putting together the fabled 60-minute game, and there's been quite a few instances this season where that hasn't happened, and I'm sure that's been really frustrating for the team. But just lately, we seem to be able to put that together more and more. Has it been frustrating for one, and for two? Is that what you were trying to do towards the end of the stretch, just to get us in shape for the playoffs? Is just to put that consistency back into the game?
100%, yeah. Look, that's it. Kind of the league title goes to the most consistent team. There's no kind of secret about that. And we haven't been consistent this year for whatever reason it's been. And we kind of it's not been a case of forwards haven't scored enough goals or defence haven't kept it out. We haven't, as a collective 5 or 6 on the ice, haven't played consistently well enough over the course of 60-minute games to get the results. We outscored a lot of teams last year, which probably maybe's hit a few things that in our game that maybe's weren't right, but we managed to outscore them. This year hasn't been the case. So we've kind of struggled in those close games. And look, I'm under no illusion that this is going to be the toughest test over 120 minutes that we've had. Telford are a very, very good team, and they're very good at playing consistently for 60 minutes. So yeah, it's just been, again, but our focus has just been on us. We know if we play the right game, we play 60 minutes of good hockey, that the bounces will come and we'll get our opportunities. I know that, and we've got people on our team that can finish the puck when they're given the opportunity. We just need to play a solid game for 60 minutes and not try and run and gun and outscore teams and think we can run away with it. It's not going to work like that, unfortunately, this year. So everyone's going to have to kind of batten the hatches down, and it's going to be a battle over 120 minutes. So we're looking forward to it.
Has the game plan changed slightly, given that we're now got the home advantage on Sundays, or do you look at it as 120 minutes regardless of where you're playing on which night?
I don't know whether it favours. Obviously, you could look at it favours us because we'll know on the Sunday we'll come home and what the result is, and we know what I need to do, and we're comfortable on home ice. As I mentioned, we've got to do the travelling, so we've got to do the travelling there and the travelling back. So it's a 6:00 face on Saturday. We'll get back late, so the rest is not going to be as much. So you can look at it both ways. We haven't really discussed, or we obviously were speaking on Tuesday night. We'll get together tomorrow night at the rink if there's anything specific we want to work on. But I don't think that it changes much, to be honest with you. The best team over the course of 120 minutes will come through, and it'll show in the end result whether we play home or away on a Saturday. So, but yeah, like I say, I'm quite confident that we'll go down there on Saturday. Full of confidence. Again, it's kind of shades of Widnes a few years ago where Telford have had our number this year, and kind of they've probably, albeit but one, probably deserved the results against us. They've played some good hockey, but we haven't played them for a while, and our game's possibly in a different place than when it was. So yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Nice one. Sounds like you was listening to the podcast earlier, John, because you said that, didn't it, Widnes?
Yeah. I do know what I'm talking about sometimes. No, I'm quite privileged, Mikey. Obviously, I get to see you all in the changing room, and I'm on the bench with you, so I get to see how much it cares to all of you. I can see the emotion from players when it's not going our way. How do you keep a team that's seen their cup disappear to another team, seen their league title disappear off to another team? The form is just up and down, and you can't quite put a finger on it. And now we've got the playoffs to defend for, and like I say, the form hasn't been great. How do you keep them motivated, saying, guys, you know what? We can still win this title. We can still keep our title. We've earned it. We're in this position. So we have as good a chance as anyone to win this playoff title. How do you keep them more motivated after seeing what's gone before already this season?
It's sometimes quite hard. And obviously it's different as a team, or it's different treating the team about success as treating individuals as well. Obviously, a lot of individuals this year haven't probably reached the heights that they'd wanted to, whether that be goals or assists or points or saves percentages or whatever it is. So although it's a collective, we've been fortunate that a lot of individuals over the past 2 seasons when we've had this success have probably played their best hockey of their careers. and for whatever reason that hasn't happened this year. So it's tough. It kind of you can't go and score a goal for someone. You can score for the team, but you can't get someone out of a slump. And it is just hard work, and you hope that by keep doing the right things and playing the game the right way, that the bounces will come. Sometimes the bounces don't come, and that's just the nature of hockey. But you've kind of got to believe that you're doing the right things every week, and you're putting the effort in training, and you're playing the right way. You're doing the right things. As a collective, we're doing it, and then hopefully, like I say, that when the time comes, karma's on our side and things go the right way. But again, that's the game of hockey. You have to have a lot of luck in this game at some point to go on different runs and different stretches. But we've been doing a lot of right things, and a few people that possibly haven't had the best of seasons, or by their all accounts, have found the net down the stretch here, and there's been different contributions. And that's what I said on Sunday. I just want people to find a way to impact the game, whatever that may be. And that's not going out there and scoring a hat-trick. But if you go out there and make a big hit, or you go out there and make a block shot, and you go out there and turn the puck over in a dangerous area, like, that's all contributing. And although, yes, it may not be the highlight reel stuff, and may not be the people talk about on social media, but we know inside the room that different people do different things and bring different skill sets. So you've just got to go out there and impact the game just some way. Go out there and just make a difference with every shift that you go out there. And if we do that, then the recipe for success is going to be, hopefully it'll come with us.
Yeah. Anything else, Jono?
No, I was just obviously I get to see what goes on the bench, and just you can see the emotion in the lads, and you can see it in the faces sometimes going, why is it just happening for me? And as Mikey said there, that he can't do it for them. They're just got to keep working hard. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things you could probably take Mikey, is that they are still working so hard. They're not, the form might not be there, but the will, the desire, and the want still there to be better and to do things for the team.
100%. Yeah, look, none of us are going out there and purposely trying not to score or make a bad pass or anything like that. We're trying to do the right thing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And like you say, people success kind of it breeds off things. You know what I mean? So like as someone builds a shift, has a good shift, we want the next line to go on and continue that momentum. And do you know what I mean? That kind of that momentum that we've struggled with all season is going to be pivotal if we're going to have any success in the playoffs. So we're all kind of, it is a bit of a clean slate. We're playing some good hockey, and we've just got to go and prove it to ourselves that we are a good hockey team still. We've still got a lot of life left in this season, and we're going to give it our best shot.
Yeah. Nice one. Just a word about the support that you've had this season. Obviously, the last few weeks, the travelling support, but coming back on Sunday, and the barn was practically full, which was fantastic to see after such a big gap. For all I say, a fifth place team, but the support has never really wavered from the fans, home or away, has this year.
No, not at all. And it's been huge for us. Obviously, we've spoke about it numerous times, how much we enjoy playing at the Forum, and we're going to need that more so than ever on Sunday. So, look, hopefully we can go and do a job at Telford on Saturday, whatever that result is we come out with. It's still probably going to be all to play for on Sunday. So that support is going to be massive. And like you say, yeah, Billingham, the supporters of Billingham Ice Hockey have been treated to some unbelievable hockey over the past few years and great moments. And we're looking to create another one on Sunday, and hopefully we can extend our season by another weekend.
Sounds good. Carol, anything else?
No, I just wanted to wish you and the guys luck. I mean, I'm sure there'll be a mighty contingent going down on Saturday. Obviously, we will get the furthest trip of the season again for the quarterfinal. Obviously, can't do everything the easy way, can we? I just wanted to wish you luck ahead of it, and I'm sure that we're more than capable of bringing the lead back to the Forum on Sunday, and then who knows? We've said it all season that on our day we can beat anybody in this league, and think with just a little bit of luck, we might be able to keep that trophy in Billingham.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's the mindset that we're going with. So, look, obviously take one game at a time, but we know that this is a game of 6 periods. So we know where their threats are. They're a very good team, very solid team. They haven't just got to where they are because Luca's broke records. They're a very, very, very good hockey team, and it would be discredit to them just to say that they're where they are for Luca. But we're going to go there with a plan. Hopefully we can execute it to our best of ability and come back to the forum and finish it off. But hope to see the forum packed on Sunday, and hopefully we'll give them a lot to shout about.
Nice one, Jono. Anything from you?
No, I'm really excited for I'm excited for training as well. I think there'll be an absolute buzz about the place this week. So I'll see you tomorrow night, and hopefully the lads are all well buzzing about, and we'll put on a show for the weekend.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Appreciate your time, Michael. Thank you very much for jumping on. We'll see you at the weekend away Saturday in Telford, and then we'll see you back at the forum on Sunday for the playoff quarter final. Captain of your Billingham Stars, Michael Elder, thank you very much.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Welcome back to STARCAST. Obviously, the Stars finished their regular season with a home-and-home with the Dragons, starting in North Wales on Saturday evening. And it was Deeside 5, Billingham 4, end-to-end-ish. We'll talk about that in a second. Full scoring details for the Dragons. Their goals were Witkowski, Fadievs, Kennedy, Witkowski, and Cromie. Late on for the Stars, it was Ian Brown and James Moss hat-trick, taking him over 30 goals for the season. Carol, you can kick us off. It started, obviously went behind quite early on, 2-0 down, but overall a fantastic job by the Stars to come back and then just fail at the last hurdle. What we're going to talk about.
Yeah, it was quite a funny game to watch on Saturday. I was saying before we started recording, saw quite a few comments from people who've been in the game who said it was really good. And it's not often I disagree, but after the first period, I don't think it was that good. In fact, it was the 5-on-3 power play that we had towards the end of the first period where the game started to change for me, because up till that point it really had been very entertaining. But then the amount of 5-on-5 play decreased, so did the entertainment value of the game for me. It became very one of my favourite phrases. It became very stoppy-starty. Neither team was able to get any momentum because the referee was not up for taking his whistle out of his mouth. Unfortunately, it was a scrappy game from that point of view. The periods where we were 5-on-5, it was it was still a good game to watch from that perspective, but it just turned into a special play story, and to be honest, I didn't really enjoy the fact that we were, interrupted every few minutes, it seemed, by yet another whistle. And after we've gone on and on and on and on ad infinitum about referees this season, I'm going to avoid that topic this week. But all I will say is, yet another week where for me the referees had a say in the result. And that shouldn't be the case either. So I am going to leave it there, though, because I am aware we're probably boring people to death on this subject. So yeah, it was not. I didn't find it quite as entertaining as some other people did. However, I will say, and I'll say as I did to Mike earlier, I thought the crowd were excellent. The home crowd for Deeside really do seem to have stepped up again, and are becoming their, the proverbial sixth man on the ice. So hats off to them. But for me, not the most entertaining game of the weekend.
17 power plays there were in the game overall over the 60 minutes. 9 power plays for Deeside. They scored 3. 8 power plays for us. We scored 2. So yeah, 17 is probably too many. Jono, your thoughts to echo what Carol was saying?
Yeah, it was bizarre. I mean, the first period started at a good pace, quite physical. Crowd on both sides were great, so had that playoff feel to it, and it was quite an enjoyable period. Deeside take the lead, a couple of good goals. We find our way back. We were an absolute atrocious 5-on-3. I mean, I'll refer back to Carol's notes. After that, I don't know. Both teams went in the second period, and I don't know. I think both teams came out ready for a second period, and the referee had a different idea. The whistle got whistle happy, and it just changed momentum for both teams, and it became a different type of game. Very stop-start, very scrappy. No one could get any rhythm going, and it came about just like loose chances and half chances that were going to get taken, or a little bit of individual brilliance, and just the whole team aspect just went out the window. Third period had some legs. It was probably more of the will to get back into the game that helped us get back into it. But yeah, somehow we managed to lose it in regulation. I think the very least we deserved was overtime. I came away from the ring just with a bit of taste in my mouth to do with the whole game, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
The very, very worst we deserved was overtime. We worked hard enough, we played well enough, defended well enough, attacked great, deserved to get back into the game, and then just to have it taken off us with, we've talked to death about it. And I wouldn't be surprised if his journey was the same home. Then I probably should have been better. But yeah, we're not doing that one again.
Yeah, I mean, we came back from 2-0 down and 4-2 down to tie it with 5 minutes to go. And at that point, you probably think we've got the momentum, but like you say, the events conspired, and Deeside took it with 3 minutes to go in regulation with Colin Cromie's power play goal. We mentioned goaltending and defence from when we were talking to Mike. Both goalies faced 35 shots, so not a huge amount. What was the thoughts on the defensive end from both sides? You kind of both alluded the defense was solid from the Stars side. Obviously, we've got Jake. Jake's been a different animal this year. We didn't really talk that much. I didn't know how much to talk with Mike about Jake, because obviously last year's Jake still scored points but didn't look bothered. This year's Jake is obviously bought into what they're doing, which is what I said to him. But they're still the offensive juggernaut. But defensively, what was the thoughts on the blue line on both sides?
For me, for the Stars, Jacob had a sterling weekend, and great to see ahead of the playoffs, to be quite honest. For Deeside, it's clear they've upgraded in the netminder department. I'm still not convinced by their D, but there's no denying it's tighter than it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that the main reason they're not leaking as many as last season is the goalie. The rest of their D, I'm still not terribly convinced, but I'm here to be proved wrong as ever.
Yeah. Do you know any thoughts on the respective?
Yeah, no, I think Carl nailed it there. They have their first D pairing is as good as any in the league. That is they've upgraded in that department. They're very, very good first pairing. Second pairing, you can see where the weaknesses are. And if I probably went into the details of the game and the plus minuses, if people wanted to be that bored, I wouldn't be surprised if it was the second pairing that did concede the majority of the goals. We know how much of a good goalie Tyler is, and he's made a huge difference there. But I think the reason why they've improved so well defensively is because their forward lines have got the puck in the defensive zone for much longer of the game. They don't do much defending anymore. But whereas the better teams who do have that 1 and 2 lines who can put them under that much more pressure, that's probably when we've seen them concede more goals, as we'll get into on the Sunday.
Yeah, and as Carol alluded as well, the home crowd was loud and into it and good in number, which is good to see. But the travelling contingent, as always, as they have been all season, made it down to North Wales and made their presence felt, Carol.
Yeah, great travelling support once again. I guess with us being in the league position that we're in, we might have naturally expected some of that support to find other things to do when we're away from home, and especially when we've been away from home for as long as we have been. And if you're going to be black and white about it, the games at the weekend didn't really mean anything either. So to see that many fans turn out, for what is it, number 5 or number 6 on the road that we are?
5, wasn't it? It was the 5th.
But yeah, and we've been, away from home for a month, 5th in the league, no chance of moving up or down. Yeah, great to see so many fans turning out and giving the lads the support. Yeah,
as they've done, and your position on the bench, Jono, obviously you can see from the guys' perspective, looking out and seeing those Billingham jerseys in the crowd, obviously must make a difference to the guys on the road.
Absolutely, and we're quite lucky that we do have a few loud individual voices within our group as well, so they can be heard, and
yeah,
that's
but you're on
makes,
bench though.
Yeah, and then they can be heard, and that's the difference. It's being heard, that they know that they're there. I know it's appreciated, and yeah, we've not had a great season, but it shows that the team's more than just about winning and losing. They'll have been a part of the journey that a team takes you on. We can't have seasons like we did every year last year, or it probably would get a bit boring. Well, for the other teams anyway. But yeah, they've stuck by no matter what. They love the sport, they love this team, and they love that we have a homegrown, hard-working team that puts it all on the ice for their entertainment every week. And I think that doesn't go unmissed by the fans. Hence why that support is maintained and grew over the years. And to be fair, I think fan numbers in our division have grown massively. Full stop. Solihull seems busy every time you go there. Widnes have done exceptional to turn things around there after the season that they had last year. I mean, that could have just imploded crazy. Never known how many players we're going to have. Probably had not many turn up at all last year, but they've created a great product there. Deeside have turned things around and got their momentum going and filling out their barn. Telford Tigers too are getting well supported from like Tigers National. So I think numbers in our division have grown massively, and I think that's down to the level of the product that's on the ice every week, and I think the fans do appreciate that.
Yeah, no, 100%, and that was repeated on Sunday, which we'll talk about in a second. So the Dragons take the first part of the weekend doubleheader, 5-4 in North Wales, which meant they travelled up to Deeside on Sunday for what is written down here as a home game. Hadn't been there for a while. 36 days between home games. Dread to think how many miles I've done between home games as well. I should have looked it up and been better prepared. But 36 days between home games. So we returned to the Forum Ice Arena, and it was a pretty full crowd as well, which we fantastic to see. Some travelling fans as well, which was also good to see, travelling up on a Sunday night. But on the scoreboard, it was Billingham Stars 7, Deeside Dragons 3. Your Stars goals from Ian Brown, 2 for James Moss, 3 for Chris Sykes, and 1 for Callum Wilkinson. For the Dragons, Jake Wachowski, Colin Cromie, and Ross Kennedy. Again, the Dragons had Jace Gledhill in net for the first 2 periods. Stars again went with Jacob Hammond, faced 51 shots, some sterling saves, which we will talk about in epic detail, I'm sure. Carol, you can lead us off. A jumping start, 3-0, and we didn't really let up after that.
No, it was a different game from the previous night in that the the officiating was done slightly differently, so the game flowed a lot better. And you could see the difference that made to the Stars by the fact that we were taking that momentum and rolling it, and that's how we managed to get up to 3-0, I think, and never looked back after that. It was a really persistent performance. I think by that I mean we just kept going at them for the whole 60 minutes. I appreciate they were a little short benched, but I think Mike Clancy hit the nail on the head there. Then they didn't really use that as an excuse, because they had the team there to do a job if necessary, and they weren't allowed to do that because we were kind of relentless on Sunday. Just hitting our stride at the right time, which you can't time it any more perfect than that, can you? Get yourself on a roll before the playoffs. But yeah, persistent and relentless. So yeah, those are my 2 words of the week for that Sunday game.
Very good, noted. Write those down, everybody. Use them wherever possible. As I said to Foz in post game, John, there's never a bad time to score a goal. But when it's been an edgy period and it's 3-2 and it's heading into the last minute, if you score 2 goals in the last minute of a period, that gives you a huge boost going into the third period, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and it's something that we're probably getting known for throughout the league. That the goals are the bunches that we did last year, and we've probably done it quite a lot this year as well. So yeah, I mean, they were probably the killer going into the third for them. I mean, Mike was probably just getting ready to set up himself for his second intermission speech. Probably what he's going to say. It's going to be a tight third period. We'll do this, we do that, and then bang bang changes everything. And yeah. Great timings to score goals. I mean, like I say, it probably literally changed everything for Deeside. I'm a bit unsure of why the net might have changed, whether it was to try and see if they could get back into the game, or if it was to stop us from running away from it and making it look a bit silly, because I think that could have been the case. I think we could have run off and ran wild and probably really dented everything that they built over the last month.
I think Mike, I didn't go into it that much with him, but I think he said pretty much those goals. He was done, Gledhill, so he didn't want to put him back out for the third. And obviously Tyler DLB came in. He was struggling with is it up our body? I don't know what. Oh yeah, hips up our lower body. He was complaining of injuries, but I don't want to disclose where it was. But it's up our lower body. I don't know. But yeah, no. So he went in for the third, but obviously the momentum we got from that those couple of goals at the end of the period, some nice goals as well. They got the last one, unfortunately, but 7-3 I think was a pretty fair scoreline, Jono.
Yeah, like I say, I think Carol mentioned there. I mean, the lack of penalties probably helps with that momentum. And to be fair, I think the performances of the last 2-3 weeks has probably put some belief back into the team and go, you know what? Yeah, this is still our trophy. We can defend this. We have nothing to lose. We've got nothing to be afraid of. So let's just go and give everything that we've got. And I think we're doing that. And we're probably everyone will be looking over the shoulders at us, especially those top 2 teams. Obviously, one we might meet in the semi-final, one we might meet in the final. But obviously, we had to get there first. But no, an absolutely fantastic performance, probably against the playoff favourites as well, as I mentioned. I have no qualms with saying that. I think they are. They've got Hawks as a number. They're the form team. So to put in 2 fantastic performances like that, but on Sunday, be really clinical with our finishing as well. It puts us in a really good position, and I'm sure training will be great this week.
Yeah, it should be flying. You mentioned the special teams in comparison to Saturday when there were 17 power plays. On Sunday, there were 3. We had 2. Deeside had 1, and their power play lasted 9 seconds. They scored, and that was all they got. So yeah, 3 power plays. But some of the goals, very nice. I see the one Sykesy just got to the goal. He was going to make the save and then put it through 5-hole. That was nice. Mossy again. We'll talk about player of the year in any other business, but Mossy again is just relentless and has been coming up huge the last few weeks. And then we've got to talk about Jacob, 48 saves. Carol mentioned it. in the Saturday review. He had a great weekend, but on Sunday he was different gravy, wasn't he, Carol?
Oh, yeah, and again, just at the right time. You want a hot goalie going into the playoffs, and yeah, Jacob was scorching hot on Sunday, pulling off all manner of saves. There was one reminiscent of that Bucks playoff final with the stick.
Mm-hmm.
Was that I think that was the first period. Yeah, he just he stood in his head. It was great to see, actually, and like I say, timed perfectly.
Yeah, I think it was the first bit. I think it was a breakaway. I can't remember if it was Wachowski or the other in Port Cromie. It was a breakaway, and he kind of fingered his arm and saved it. But the puck was still there. But he saved it another 2 or 3 times in the air, and finally batted it away. But no, he's coming up huge, and Wachowski. Again, after the game, Mike was saying it wasn't for the one to try, and Wachowski only scored 1. He had his shots from his usual point on the face-off dot, but he just wasn't getting past, and hence he only finished on 66 and didn't beat Ian's goal total for a North American player, which is nice. That's a record we're keeping as well. Your thoughts on the Jacob and the blue line, Jono?
Yeah, I thought, to be fair, the blue line was huge yesterday, Sunday. Lewis was fantastic. I know Joe made a little mistake, a bit harsh on him. I know what he tried to do. He just didn't get the nice bounce off the board, and it unfortunately came right out in front of the net to Jake Wachowski, of course. Who else? He was just trying to do the right thing, but even after that, he never let it get on top of him. He was great from that. Mentioned Lewis Baldwin. I thought Will was outstanding. He showed a lot of his composure as well for a 16-year-old, just to either drop the shoulder in his own zone, which, I mean, probably gives coaches a few heart attacks doing that. But no, they played great. But for Jacob as well, I think he's probably getting somewhere back to where we know he can be. I think he'd be the first to admit he's been nowhere near last season's standard. I don't think any of them have, to be honest. But he's found a way. He's battled all season long, and it's doing him in good stead now because he's hitting form just at a great time, just like a few of them have. Mossy hat-trick, Sykesy hat-trick. What more could you want going into the playoffs?
Yeah. No, it was fantastic. And as I said on social, it was a fantastic way to round off the regular season after so long away from home as well. And a word for our crowd. Obviously, we mentioned the travelling crowd, but the home crowd on Sunday, I say, after so long away, it would easy have been to forgotten about us and forgotten the way to the forum and forgotten what to do on a Sunday night. But they turned up. The first 5 blocks, I think, were full. It was only towards the end of the Deeside block and then the very end block behind me, where there was noticeable gap. So it was packed. It was jumping and it was loud, which is what we'd like to repeat on this coming Sunday.
Absolutely. I know I saw a few comments floating around from people didn't particularly enjoy Deeside's musical accompaniments. However, I find myself on the opposite opinion. I love it when away fans come and have a little bit of a sing song and bring the atmosphere. I think it's great.
Need to be factual though.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be super generous and just ignore that. I do like it when, like I say, when the away fans bring the noise, as it were, and it brings the best out of the home crowd as well. So I didn't mind that at all. I mean, granted, I did kind of go deaf in one ear after a while, but just ignore that. But it reflects how, like I say, how the home game was. I think Deeside have decided to be the noisy neighbours of the division. Mm-hmm. I don't mind that at all. No, it was a really, really, really good crowd on Sunday. Despite difficulties with the car park, I believe, because there was something going on at the theatre as well. So the car parks around the forum were absolutely ram-packed full. Yeah. So yeah, perseverance was needed to get into the building in the first place. But Yeah, great crowd for final game of the season, which again, black and white meant absolutely nothing, but everybody turned out in the numbers. Please do that again on Sunday. Your voices will be needed.
Yeah, more on that in a moment. But yeah, so that was Sunday. I say fantastic win, rounding off the regular season, 7-3 for your Billingham Stars, and that put to bed the regular season. The other scores from the weekend, we'll quickly go through these, give you the league table and then the playoff matchups. So it was obviously Deeside Billingham on Saturday, Hull Jets 2, Solihull Barons 5, Daintiff again for Hull and Kerman scoring for Hull, 2 for Price, 2 for Otterson, 1 for Phil Mulcahy for Solihull, so they take the win on Hull. Telford 4, Blackburn 1. Blackburn's final game of the season ends in defeat at Telford. 2 goals for Jason Silverthorne, Howells and Stanton. The other goal for Blackburn from Adam Barnes. Leeds Knights finished their season with a win in the derby game against Sheffield. Leeds 6, Sheffield 2. Burgess 2 for Heinzel, Dell, Bjarnason and Dermot for the Leeds Knights. For Sheffield, Scott and Chard. Sunday, Billingham Deeside, we know. Solihull, this was the one we were keeping tabs on from afar. Solihull Telford, the battle for 3rd and 4th. So whoever finished 3rd played Hull, and whoever lost this game was going to be our opponent, and it was Solihull who took the honours, which meant Telford finished 4th. Solihull 5, Telford 3, Nixon, Otterson, White, Landsbergs and Soden for Solihull. For the Tigers, Luca, Morris and Silverthorne, their goal scorers. Widnes 4, Hull 2. Widnes win to secure 7th place and avoid the top seeded Blackburn Hawks. Widnes 4, Hull 2, Massey, Parry, Hyde and Griffin against Powell and Kerman for Hull. And then the final game, Nottingham 5, Leeds Knights 2. 4 goals for Alex Rushby, 1 for Croston and 2 goals for Wag for Leeds. Finishes off your regular season, which means we already knew who the top weight were. Now the places are confirmed. So it goes 1 Blackburn, 93 points, 2 Deeside, 82, 3 is Solihull on 77, and Telford on 74. The Stars finish on 62, 10 points clear of Hull on 52. Then it's Widnes on 36, Nottingham on 34, and then below the playoff cut line, Leeds 9th in 24 points, and then Sheffield just the 2 wins, 6 points, and a negative 167 goal difference. As the song says, things can only get better. That's your league table, which means if the playoffs start this week, which they do, your playoff matchups are Blackburn versus Nottingham, Telford versus Billingham, Deeside versus Widnes, Solihull versus Hull. We'll talk about our tie in depth in a moment, but just a quick thought on the playoff matchups. Obviously, we said with Mike how it's on any day, any team can beat any team, possibly apart from Sheffield this season. But any team can beat any team, and those playoff matchups. What are your thoughts, Miss Carroll, first?
He's right to an extent. However, Blackburn's form seems to have dipped a little bit towards the end of the season. I still can't see anything other than a Blackburn win from that first set of that first series.
Mm-hmm.
Can't see Nottingham turning Hawks over 2 legs. Just can't. The other 2 matchups are interesting because on paper, Deeside Widnes, you put your mortgage on Deeside. It's a local derby though, and Widnes have been funny all season. They've turned in some absolutely awful performances and some absolutely brilliant ones. So I do think it's going to depend on which version of Widnes turn up. However, I'm kind of with Jono. I think Deeside are really favourites for this title. And weirdly, I think if they get past this hurdle, whoever they get in the semi-final might even be easier. So Blackburn and Deeside, I think, pretty safe, with a caveat. The other, Solihull Hull. Now, Solihull were bang on form until they ran up against us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much that's going to have got into their heads. Hull are a lot like Widnes. They kind of turn up one week and don't the next. So Solihull Hull, I think, has got the potential for a shock, especially since the national side, Hull Seahawks have taken the ice, and it's meant that Solihull have been forced to play on Saturday at home, which I'm sure they're delighted with. I'm sure they tried to get a birthday party booked in last minute. It's not happening for them. Don't die quietly, John. So Hull having that Sunday home advantage, I think might spring a surprise. So I'm going to sit on the fence slightly for Solihull Hull, and I know we're going to talk about those separately, so I'll leave it for now. But those are my thoughts on the other three.
The Solihull Hull regular season series was actually tied 2 wins each. Each won 1 home and 1 away, and the aggregate score is dead level.
There you go.
So you can't get a.
And you probably could argue as well with Hull upgrading the netminder with bringing in a National League goalie. So you could argue that they have upgraded ever so slightly in the netminder department. We know Zach Brown's a great netminder.
Is he all right now though? Because when he came in, he couldn't catch cold.
Well, he's got them on a good run, hasn't he? So, and if he has, it's the same as Luke. If Luke decides to go beast mode against Deeside could have a bit of trouble. Fully expect Deeside to get through, but I think a lot could be on how well Luca plays over them 2 fixtures. If he goes beast mode, they could struggle. And it's the same with Hull. I mean, if Hull, if they do have Crow, I think it's Crow, isn't it?
Yeah.
If he goes beast mode and brings that national level qualities that got him there, Solihull could find that very, very difficult, especially after losing home advantage.
Yeah. No, and it's really exciting. Actually, the playoffs are the pinnacle of the season for a reason. So I say it's kind of winner stays on, winner takes all, and 4 exciting quarterfinals. We'll focus on our quarterfinal now. As we said, the way the standings worked out, it's 4th against 5th. So it's Telford Tigers, and again, due to Telford having a bigger club. Taking the Sunday ice, Telford will be at home on Saturday the 28th at the Telford Ice Rink, which means we'll have the home game on Sunday the 29th of March, usual 5:30 at Forum Ice Arena. Where do we want to start? Telford, may as well check our regular season against Telford. Did we go
4-4? 4-4.
The home games were 4-5 and 5-8. The away games were
5-3 and 5-4.
So we've pushed them for long periods, but we haven't quite been able to get over the line, Carol. And we know where their strengths lie. A very experienced top line, if we're being kind. And a sniper who shoots the puck at 200 miles an hour. And if it gets anywhere near the net, you're in trouble. What do we need to do to beat the Telford Tigers?
The easy answer is stop Luca. But if it was that easy, everybody would do it, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, there isn't an easy answer here. Yes, we all know who the danger is here. If you look at Luca's stats for the year, he's Telford's top point scorer by 50. 50 points. 50 points. That's mental. That's absolutely mental.
Yeah. So
yeah, we know where we know where the threat is. How do we stop him? Do you know what? There was one game that we played down there. I think the second away game that we played down there, we kept him quiet for 56 minutes of that game, and the 4 minutes at the end when we didn't finished us off. So it's possible. And obviously Telford finished 4th, so they're clearly not unbeatable. but we do need to solve that particular issue.
Yeah, and having the away game first maybe changes the way you're going to play that first leg, because obviously winning is the aim, but if you can't win, keep it as close as possible to bring it back to the Forum on the Sunday.
Yeah, it will probably change the shape of the tie. It's unfortunate for Telford that they're not able to take the home advantage that their league position gives them, and they'll have to deal with that as they have to. But for us, yeah, for sure, I'm sure it changes the approach to the whole weekend. We have the added. It's not a complication. It's a kind of a in club thing, but Bucks have their one-off playoff tie on the Saturday. So there will be discussions, I'm sure, all week as to where the two-way players are going for the Saturday game. So Saturday will effectively shape the whole tie. I know that's a bit of a cliche, but how we approach that game, and I saw somebody saying to keep us in touching distance. I would like to think that the aim is slightly more ambitious than that. I would like to think that we're going in there wanting to take a lead back to the Forum, and I think that kind of has to be the approach.
100%. I mean, after the way we've played on our last few away games, obviously winning in Widnes, winning in Solihull, almost winning in Deeside, and then winning the home game against Deeside, we're on a run of form. So, John, your thoughts on heading into the Tigers series?
Yeah, well, we certainly owe them one. So they could be dreading that, going, their luck must be up against us at some point. If I remember rightly, the last time we played a team in the playoffs who we were 0-4 against, was that not Widnes? And
yes,
we
it was.
And I think we turned up. I have no doubt that these boys will be ready for this weekend. They've got a fantastic opportunity to get something out of a poor season. A poor season. I think they would be happy to say a poor season. There's a great opportunity here to make something of it. And I think it's going to be fantastic. We'll be taking 3 solid lines down, simple as that. Regardless of who wants to play where and who wants what, we'll be taking 3 lines. Solid lines. We've strengthened defensively with Lewis. We can grow. Jump on his experience, his playoff experience, and we have someone who was a bit more experienced to deal with a Luca type player as well. But the best way to defend him is just keep the puck out of our defensive zone, play in their zone, and we're very good at zonal play, and we're very good at offensive play and cycling and circling the puck in the defensive zone. So I think that a lot of that will be a lot of the training will be about puck possession and keeping the puck in their offensive zone. And if it does come in ours, nothing stupid, just clear the areas, and if we have to ice the puck to take a face off, we'll do that. Face-offs are going to be huge. We know Silverthorne will take every face-off on the night, whether it's offensive zone, defensive zone, or neutral zone. So the lads will have to be sharp with the face-offs. They're going to play a huge part, and staying out the box. That's going to be huge. Obviously, Luca doesn't need much space to begin with, so if you give him that extra man space to be over on his wing, he's going to punish you. And like you say, he shoots at 200 miles an hour. They're still trying to take the dent out the crossbar, the goals at the Forum, I think. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. It's great to be in this mid-table pack, because I think people might just be looking over the shoulder at us, especially if we get through this tie.
Yeah. Well, I say finishing outside the top 4. You kind of, it's to borrow a phrase I've heard on other hockey podcasts. You're playing with house money, aren't you? It's kind of a free run. You're not expected. You're not in the top 4, so remember, you're not expected. So anything you do. Yeah, anything you do is a success. So and we are the trophy holders. Still, we still do have 2 trophies. Deeside ladies. We know where they are. They're still in our trophy cabinet. And we will do everything we can to defend the Division 1 trophy and the national trophy as well, which follows on the following day, a playoff weekend. I think we'll kind of leave that there. Just to remind folks, it is Sunday for the home game against the Telford Tigers, 5:30 as usual at Forum Ice Arena. I'm sure we'll confirm ticket details because it's not covered by the season tickets, so it'll be paying on the door, etc., etc. So we'll confirm all of that on socials in the run up to the playoff. But it's away on Telford, 6 o'clock on Saturday, and then home on Sunday, 5:30 at the Forum. The full fixture list, all the fixtures are now confirmed. Saturday, Nottingham play Blackburn at 5:10, Deeside v Widnes at 5:30, Solihull v Hull at 5:30, and as we said, Telford v Billingham at 6. And on Sunday, the reverses, Billingham are at 5:30, Hull are at home to Solihull at 5:30, also at 5:30, Widnes Deeside, and then Blackburn have the final game, 6 o'clock start against the Nottingham Lions. It's two legs, total aggregate score, overtime and penalties after the second leg only, and it's a set bracket as well. So if you haven't seen on AIH socials, they have confirmed what the bracket would be. So the winner of Blackburn Nottingham would play the winner of Telford Billingham. It's not reseeded, so winner of Blackburn plays the winner of Telford Billingham, and then Deeside or Widnes would play Solihull or Hull, and then that's obviously next weekend. And then the Steel City Showdown, which we'll talk about in a second, is for the Division Championship and the National Championship. I can take a break. Anything else I've missed on playoffs before we move to AOB? Just
No,
how
I
excited we are. It's the place to be.
Yeah, it's wide open. I'm really looking forward to it, and regardless of results, we all know we're all going to Sheffield for a few drinks.
Amen to that.
I'm going for the sweets.
And the sweets.
So we'll side quickly into any other business. I'm sure Jono has a list. It was fantastic to see the supporters club back in full swing at the weekend. Repeat that, I'm sure, on Sunday. We'll let John have his moment in a second. Just the bits that I was going to bring up. Obviously, Steel City Showdown. The early bird prices have finished, but tickets are still available if you want to go to the final weekend of the NIHL regional leagues. It is Ice Sheffield, the Bauer Arena, 11th and 12th of April. 4 divisional championship games on a Saturday, 2 national championship games on a Sunday. It was fantastic last year. It's going to be fantastic again this year. And if your team's not playing, it's even better because you can drink. The player of the month, we did February's player of the month because we haven't been at home for 36 days. It was fantastic to see Will get that from the players, from the fans vote for February. March will be interesting because obviously we've only had one home game in March. But a word on the player of the year. I know they kicked off the player of the year vote on Sunday. You can vote from the supporters club, or there's there's a QR code. The graphic was on socials. You can do that online. Just a quick thought on player of the year. Any without affecting the vote, but your thought, Carol, on Stars player of the year.
I know who I'm voting for, and I've known for I'd say probably 6 or 7 weeks, but I'm not going to influence the vote in any way, shape, or form. But for me, there is actually only one winner this year. But that could just be me. That's purely my opinion. But I know who I'm voting for. It's not even close for me.
Yeah. And the player of the year vote is anybody can vote in that. It's not just the supporters club who vote for the player of the month. The player of the year is all fans can vote in that. Yeah. And that will be presented at a presentation night on April 24th. Tickets still available. Right, so Carol knows, but she's not saying.
Yeah, I'm not saying.
Yeah, I have a bit of a weird list. At the top is James Moss. I think I waxed lyrical about him a month or so ago being the best player in the division. Still stand by that. I'll fight anyone who wants to have a discussion about it because I will win. He's been absolutely extraordinary this year. He's got so much better. Maybe dipped in form a little bit. You could argue, but back with a hat trick at the weekend. Just an absolute sensational season. But I want to give 2 special mentions out. One for Shuggy Galloway, moving back into defence and doing it seamlessly. I think he's been great back there. fantastic transition from him, and probably Ben Greenhow going the other way as well. I think he's been sensational since he's been moved to the third line centre, which is a big role. I know I bang on about face-offs every week, but they are so important, and he's doing an absolutely insanely good job there. Playing centre on that third line and winning a lot of important face-off draws. So for me, it's not close. For me, James Moss has been out by far our best player this year, but two worthy special mentions of Ben Greenhow and Shuggy Galloway for me.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't fight on James Moss. I would 100% agree on James Moss. Although the top line this year didn't have the same fireworks as last year. Sykes finished on 80 points, almost under the radar. Seeing Chris Sykes under the radar, but you know what I mean. It hasn't been as flashy as maybe the top line was last year. And Ian's on 71 points as well, 29 goals, which is fantastic. But obviously compared to 68 last year, which is more than Jake's 66. 68 last year, it obviously sounds like a big drop, but obviously playing a different game, and obviously he's a known quantity in the division now. And the like you say, the third line, which is got about 4 or 5 people on it. The third line, they keep rotating in, do a huge job, take an ice away from the top 2 lines, give them a break, not getting scored on, doing a huge defensive job. So not an easy decision on the vote, I think. Although I know who I'm voting for. Carol knows who she's voting for. Do you know who you're voting for, Jono?
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah. So I think we all know who we're voting for. I think we're all voting for the same person, actually. But we'll keep that under our hats. But yeah, if you're there on Sunday, you can get a form from the Supporters Club, or if you have a look on our socials, there's a post there with a QR code, which takes you to the voting page online, and you can do that. I think I've talked enough. Any other business, Carol, before Jono has his list?
Shout out to the Bucks for this weekend as well. The Laidler playoffs obviously underway at the same time as us, but ice time is obviously an issue throughout the UK really, but at playoff time it becomes particularly sticky, and it becomes stickier the further down the tee as you go. So because of that, the Bucks are playing a one-off playoff tie with Altrincham Aces on Saturday at the Forum, because Altrincham cannot get ice time at the weekend. So that's going to be a doozer of a game. So good luck to the Bucks in getting through to the semi-final.
Yeah, and that's a 4-5 tie as well. So the Bucks were 4 in this case, but they've had a bit of a ding dong with Altrincham throughout the season. Obviously, they played them in the league, but they played them in the Hockey Hound Cup as well. So they've had a good series with them all year. So that's going to be for a winner takes all one-off game. It's going to be huge. It's going to be 2 huge games, double huge if you're Nick Rothwell. A double huge weekend at the Forum Ice Arena for playoff hockey. Jono?
Yeah. No. First of all, I'd like to say a huge congratulations to former player, Mr. McNulty, just here. He's there somewhere.
Yeah.
Winning the league title with the Edinburgh Capitals there. So well done, Connor. Back-to-back league titles for you. So congratulations.
He hasn't lost his silverware either. He knows where his silverware is.
He's got his silverware too. Made even more sweeter by a demolition of the people up the road. So yeah, well done, Connor, on that one. As for the Supporters Club, I think from the bottom of my heart, Carol's, Bonds, Kay's, Fiona's, just an absolute massive thank you to the fans who've been to that table this year. The table was absolutely manic on Sunday, so thank you so much for coming to see what we've got, buying what we have, and obviously I absolutely have unreal patience with the guys on the table. It's a bit different for what they would normally do. I mean, Trudy's she likes to think she runs the place and owns the place, but she's still very young and quite a shy and timid person. So thank you for your patience with her. It will be the same again this Sunday with the sale items that we've still got left. It will be the same sort of stuff that will remain on sale for at least one more home game. But no, from the bottom of my heart and the rest of the team, just thank you so much for everything for this season and for Sunday, because obviously the crowd was huge Sunday as well. So thank you for your patience and for buying what we offer, because every penny does go back into the club and into the lads, whether it's for equipment, whether it's for just bits and bobs that you need throughout the season, and the stuff that I might need for them and stuff like that. So thank you so much.
No, fantastic. It was great to see the table buzzing on Sunday. The community angle, we've talked about that with Mike and Deeside, but the community angle is huge for Billingham as well. And we had the Thornaby Guides and Rangers on Sunday. They seem to enjoy themselves in the seats. They certainly enjoyed the catering in the interval, because they came back laden with burgers and chips and all sorts from the interval. But presented our man of the match as well and got a big team photo, which is fantastic. And also we had red balloons there as well. Carol, you were helping bring them along. I didn't have a chance to speak to the ladies on the table. Did they enjoy the night?
They did. It was Kylie and Mandy on the table. I could see they were speaking to quite a few people who were showing some interest, especially in the walk and talks that they do. Kylie apparently comes to quite a few games anyway, but it was Mandy's first ever hockey game, and she had an absolute ball. So thanks to everybody who had a mooch over to the Red Balloons table on Sunday to find out about the fantastic work that they do. All the social media that we did for them at the weekend, we tagged them in. So if you want to find out more, just follow the tag, or if I'm sure we can put the website address in the show notes for this particular podcast. There's a fair to middling 90% chance that we will have the newest branch of Andy's Man Club at the game on Sunday. Obviously, this is all a bit last minute because we didn't know what day we were playing on until fairly late in the day. So we're hoping to get the newest branch, the Billingham branch of Andy's Man Club, to the game on Sunday. So again, I know everybody out there always shows Andy's Man Club a great deal of support when they come to the games, and I'm sure that'll be the case on Sunday if they do come.
Brilliant, yeah. And as we keep saying, we are proud of being a community club for Billingham and the Billingham and Stockton kind of area. We are proud of that, supporting the community. They support us, so it's the least we can do to give back. So great to see Red Balloons. Look forward to seeing Andy's Man Club on the weekend as well. And the visits we've had this year from the guides and the scouts and the Cubs and all those groups, it's great to have those involved. So they get them supporting, and obviously fans of the future, but obviously give them something to come and enjoy as well. And we'll obviously look to kind of improve that for next year and see how we can grow the community supporting the even bigger Red Machine in future. I'm getting all preachy and converting now, so I'll stop before I keep waffling on. Have we missed anything further to throw into AOBs?
Just what I'll say on the back end of the scouts and stuff. If you are a scout leader, group leader, or anything like that, do reach out. We'll do our best to accommodate you. Whether you're in Billingham, Stockton, Middlesbrough, Hartlepool, any of the local areas, do reach out whichever way you can, and we'll get you down for a game, meet the players, and try and give you a fun evening of entertainment.
Yeah, no, 100%. We like to say that the community angle is huge, so we'll do that as much as we can. I know the players enjoy it, the club enjoys it, and we'll do what we can for that. Well, thank you to Carol and Jono as always. It's been a bumper edition tonight. Thank you to Mike Clancy joining us at the top of the show, talking all things Deeside Dragons. We'll see them, as we say, in the playoff final in 3 weeks' time. We've got that booked in for April the 12th. That's a Saturday afternoon, stroke evening, at the Bow Arena at Sheffield. So we'll see Deeside there. But wish them well for the playoffs. Thanks to Mike for jumping on. Thank you to you for your continuing listening and watching of STARCAST. It is very much appreciated. We've got a few comments last week on the show, but obviously on the refereeing thing we talked about as well. I know one of the Deeside fan pods had a post as well, so they listen to the end as well, which is perseverance. Well done to you. Well done to that. But thank you for everybody who likes it and shares it. If you can keep doing that, it helps the algorithm and helps us get seen in more places. And if you can share it as well with your group, your club, your whatever. As you've seen, we've had Mike Clancy on. We've had guests from other teams, other clubs, other organisations. We don't just focus on Billingham. We like to talk about the NIHL and the UK scene as much as possible. So we will have other guests on. If your club wants to be featured, you can never know who we'll have on through the summer as we keep going for your big red machine. But for now, we'll draw a veil there with just a final reminder. It is playoff quarterfinals. Saturday at Telford, 6 o'clock. Sunday, Billingham Stars versus the Telford Tigers, Forum Ice Arena, 5:30. We'll have all of the ticket information on our social media in the build-up. We'll hope to see you there for another big crowd, some big playoff action, defending the last two trophies of the Grand Slam. Because as we know, Grand Slams aren't for everybody. But we know where those trophies are. We'll keep them as long as we can. We'll see you at the Forum on Sunday. But for now, from Carol, from Jono, and from me, Craig, bye for now.
Thank you for watching and listening to STARCAST. Follow us on social media and remember to subscribe and leave a review on your podcast platform.